Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Well, unfortunately I positioned myself as such because there's the wind blowing straight from my back. So if I would place myself so you can see the beautiful Lake Michigan, which I will show it to you, fantastic. The wind will just blow in the microphone either here or on the telephone. And I don't use those microphones with the whatever dead cat microphones or whatever they're called, but nevertheless here we are. I'm gonna rotate, I'm gonna show you what's going on this beach, and I have a few topics for you, some developments from Ukraine mainly. Let's start with the surroundings. So here I'm on a beautiful beach. As I said, the wind blows from there. Now that is kind of west. North is on the other side. So this is beautiful Lake Michigan. I do it like this, and just gonna rotate. Beautiful. I'm gonna come after at the end of this video. I will show you how clear the water is. Again, the beach, beautiful. And because I have the cord, I have to turn everything out. So I'm gonna rotate. All right. So I can put you like this, but the wind is going to be from behind and it's a microphone. So what do we have here? Let me put this. You don't want to see my chest. You want to see that lake over there. So what's going on? Let's go to the first one. This comes from Sputnik. I have my iPad. I didn't I didn't lose it at my property today, as I lost it on 2 occasions before because I'm a baboon, too focused on thinking about analyzing whatever piece of news is over there or whatever I want to say, and then I drop this one or I put it somewhere seated over there and I forget. And I must confess that sometimes, I indulge myself with some adult beverages. So that, Anyway, so what do we have here? Sputnik. Russia's combat beast T-90 MS tank hits front line straight from showroom. I don't know if you see anything here, but I guess not. I will not even try that. I don't know if the tanks are really a great asset anymore in the new war. They are vulnerable to missile strikes, vulnerable to drone strikes. But anyway, they bring this beast and they try to tell us that it is a kind of Wunderwaffe. So Russia's cutting-edge T-90 MS showcased at the IDEX 2025 exhibition in the United Arab Emirates this February was immediately deployed to Russia's special military operation in Ukraine. The press services of Ural Vagon Zavod, part of Rostec, stated. So what do they have? Well, they have this tank and they say they updated certain things and they put it to work. Well, in order to see the quality of a weapon, you have to have it engage war or get involved in a war. You can't just keep it in a showroom and not use it, but claim is the best. Like, I know, F something nowadays. I don't even know if it's 35s or whatever it is. And when an F-35 happily hits a slow-moving $5,000 Russian drone with a $400,000 missile, everybody's celebrating the achievement of an F-35 that cost I don't know how many millions of dollars. This is imbecilic. All right, that's the first one. So the Russians bring another tank updated. Oh, I see someone in the water. Guess what? Me in the water. Yes, that's going to happen today. So the next topic. This comes from the New Voice of Ukraine. It says two Russian tankers hit in SBU drone attack in Primorsk oil terminal. Probably Primorsk-Akhtarsk, which is in the Sea of Azov. So the Ukrainians received an order from the Western companies through the Western politicians to continue destroying competition so they can get the market. I'm talking about the unproductive, uncompetitive Western products. That's exactly what happened with liquefied natural gas. The American liquefied natural gas had no chance to get on the European market. Therefore, why? It was cheap Russian pipeline gas. They couldn't compete. They made a little war. Who's they? Shh. All right. And then through their politicians, and then what happened? They made to the same politicians sanction themselves, which is, I'm not going to buy a cheap product, I'm going to buy a more expensive one, I'm going to go bankrupt. And the guys who told me to buy the more expensive one and place sanctions on me because I'm a traitor, I'm talking about the certain leaders, so-called leaders, remember they are public servants. After that I say, well, we're bankrupt. Who did it? Oh, Putin did it. But you know what? No problem. I, the one who got you in this position, I will solve you. I will reconstruct with the same guys who will come to help us. The guys who made us, because I'm what I am, make us get bankrupt. So, in this case, what's going on? These guys destroyed 2 Russian tankers. All right. It says 2 tankers were damaged in September 12 security service of Ukraine SBU special operation targeting Russian Baltic oil export hub of the port of Primorsk. All right, so they destroyed that. That's good. That means some unaffected, that you cannot compete company in the West now is going to have be in high demand to transport oil. Why? Because they're going to be less from the competition who does that better and cheaper. You got it? And hey, that's because they want to save Ukrainian lives, and because they want to make sure that Putin's war machine is destroyed. All right, next one. The last topic of this video is the most important one. And I'm not saying this so you can stay with me. Just move forward, I don't care. The last one is the most important, and that is something I've been talking about for so long. That is, the West will infringe our freedoms under the pretext of defending us. Always has happened. Poland started. I will show you. So, it says, let me see if this is the one, which is, no, we have General Staff. Situation in Kupiansk remains under control, Ukrainian control, including pipeline Russians may have used. So in Kupiansk and Kharkiv, the Russians are around the city. That's going to fall pretty soon. Or if not soon, it will fall. And the Russians tried to infiltrate the city through a pipeline. And supposedly these guys say, no, nothing happened. I have to break the news to you that this happened before. This happened before as the Russians entered, I think it was Bakhmut. Was it Bakhmut? Through a pipeline. The same thing they did and the same thing they reported. No. Nothing happened. Well, probably these guys already are in Kupiansk and they're celebrating there. So they say, no, it's under control. And let me read this paragraph from this article. Ukrainian forces are in control of the situation in the city of Kupiansk in Kharkiv Oblast, the surrounding areas, and a key pipeline that Russian troops may have attempted to use. They either attempted or they didn't. It's not may have. You know or you don't know. If you don't know, shut the hell up. To infiltrate the city, Ukraine's General Staff reported on the 13th of September. The outlet, I'm quoting, the outlet of the pipeline which the enemy attempted to use to move personnel into Kupiansk is under control of Ukrainian defenders. The pipeline does not lead directly into the city. All right, I thought it was important. And then the last topic is fantastic, and I love it. Why? Because it confirms, and I don't like when I have predictions and my predictions come true, because my predictions sometimes are about bad things happening. So there is, when a prediction of mine comes true in a certain way, that means something bad came into fruition, something that occurred that I said it will. It's not that my pride in saying, oh my God, I was right, baby doll. It's not that. It's that in order to predict something, you have to understand the dynamics. And you go with an approximation and so on. So what do we have here? This is from Ukrainska Pravda, from the Ukrainians. This is from September 12, 2025, if Russians launch drones with SIM cards, SIM cards, on a large scale, mobile internet may need to be switched off. So what happened? Do you know the Russians supposedly, reportedly, however you want to take it, launched an attack on Poland with, I don't know, 15, 17, 19 drones, depending on what kind of sources you got. And during this attack, the drones were not carrying explosives. Why? Because if they would have carried explosives, NATO could have asked for Article 5 to be implemented, which is we were under attack, military attack, we should go back and strike the enemy, even though they would not do that because, you know, they can make up shit and can do it without fulfilling the requirements or a threshold for an Article 5. But anyway, what happened? So the Russians sent these missiles, drones, and they had, or some of them had, SIM cards, not Russians, but for the mobile, for the internet in the West, in Poland, for better, they say, targeting. So that is, they entered with these SIM cards in the territory of, let's say, Poland. They use their internet communication in order to be more accurate according to the, you know, maps and whatever they have. So they dropped the Russian, whatever they have over there, and they entered with the SIM cards. Now the Poles said, in order to protect you from the evil Russians, we have to cut the internet to the population. Hey, did you catch the word they said? Need. Internet may need to be switched off. That is, we're talking about it, the decision was already made. Remember, is made. Right now they just want to see how the Poles react to this. And regardless how the Poles react, probably they're going to continue, they're going to do it. So you're not going to have internet when the Russians launch an attack on Ukraine, because that could trigger some Russian drones to cross over into Poland. Therefore, the Russians, if you remember, launch drones over Ukraine every day. I told you, the internet, the way it's operating still right now, is the biggest threat to these guys' hegemony. Why? Things like I'm doing here, or other people who can videotape something on their telephones, post it online, they could contradict the mainstream media, the operatives' narrative. And people see that. So we are their enemy. Now I understand that they try to infiltrate us and dilute us with Andrew Cuomo, with Megyn Kelly, with O'Reilly, with Don Lemon. These guys that were fired, they come to our field and they are promoted based to, I don't know, some things in ahead of us. They will be the first option. Kelly, Don Lemon, Cuomo, they will take over. Now if you think, oh, people watch them, it's not that they watch them, they will be the first option. You don't know. The algorithms would make them watchable because they're going to be the first ones they're going to see. And people, how they are lazy, intellectually lazy, they will not scroll down to see, I know, Gigi, Mike, or Emil. They're going to go and see Cuomo. Well, he's the first option. And Cuomo, he got upset with the companies that gave him millions of dollars for him talking shit all this year. Okay? So now what they're doing, they're taking over, these guys. So let's read this article further. We're not going to be able to use the internet only when these guys allow us, for our safety. A specialist from the General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine has said that it may become necessary to switch off mobile internet while air raid warnings are in effect if the Russians begin launching drones equipped with SIM cards on large scale. You know what a SIM card is, right? Put it on a telephone, and the telephone accesses the mobile in the particular area where it's covered by those guys. If you go to Romania with certain kind of phones, you have to take this SIM, put it in. Now, for instance, my phone does not have a SIM card. It's special. But anyway, they already know what I'm doing, don't worry. So we have here, the General Staff said the Russians have been using UAVs equipped with SIM cards from other countries, including Ukraine, for about 6 months. The enemy wants to know where its drone has hit, so it uses SIM cards from mobile operators. This allows it to receive information about the drone's current status. The source stressed that the Russians are using mobile communications or mesh networks when launching Shahed or Geran drones. They also added that a draft law is currently under consideration in Ukraine that would allow the mobile internet to be switched off during air raids. That means every day for a few hours. You won't have internet. And you know, the news will be given to you by the people who are in the government. You can trust them, or people who work for the government in the news. All right. So that's only there, but it could be in Poland as well, right here. Earlier, the General Staff of Poland and Ukraine discussed cooperation in the fight against drones. Polish army representatives will come to Ukraine to learn drone interception techniques. And they said, no, it's not going to be the military. They also noted Ukrainian electronic warfare systems had not been used during the Russian drone incident in Poland. Why is that? That night the drones flew into two groups from east to west and from the direction of Belarus. Why was it switched off? They just want the drones to get there, or it's just because they want to say, see, we didn't do it, we didn't even activate them, so we couldn't control them, because some and the Russians say that's a lie. It was these guys' drones, actually, it was not our drones. We don't know, we're not going to find out pretty soon. My point is this. They will infringe our freedoms big time, only to protect us. In the name of protecting us, like the COVID. Remember when they said, I'm leaving, yeah. Remember the COVID? When they protected us against the virus, okay? By what? By infringing on our freedom of movement, freedom of association, and so on in the Constitution. They didn't care. They didn't care. It was a pandemic. You know what a pandemic is? You know what a pandemic is? Okay, well, right, so let me show you the, I'm probably gonna hear the wind, and, all right, what do we have here? Beautiful beach, and people say, stop advertising, people will come more here. They won't, and I tell you why they won't. Because people who are, how do you call it, people who are coming this far, they will not be able to financially afford coming here. And people who, these guys are afraid they are going to do something bad to this place and so on, they could not afford. They could not. Do you think they're going to drive from Detroit here 3 hours or 4 hours? Do you think they're going to come from Chicago 7 hours? They weren't going to come here. They're 7 hours. Why? Cost money and time. Some of them will come, and that's their right. I agree with that. But nevertheless, let's see. What do we have? See that water over there? Oh, it's warm. I can go in. All right, my friends. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.